Welcome to Write with Love. I'm your host, Sarah Williams, best-selling author, speaker, and creative entrepreneur. Each week, I chat to passionate and inspiring authors about their journey in creative writing. Some are traditionally published, some do it themselves. Everyone's journey is different, and everyone has something interesting to say. We all love love and love what we do. Today's show is brought to you by our amazing fans and supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to help support the show and get some awesome bonus episodes, go to patreon.com/Sarah Williams Author to learn more. Now here's today's show. G'day and welcome to Write with Love. Today on the show I'm chatting to Michelle Dalton. Thanks for joining me today.
Hi Sarah, how are you?
Good, thank you. So we're going to be talking about your book Epona in a minute, but first I want you to tell us all about yourself and your writing journey so far.
I think unlike others, I didn't start writing at a young age. It wasn't my thing. Storytelling was my thing. My great-grandmother, who we called Gogo, that's Zulu for Nan, was a prolific storyteller. She used to always take us and sit next to us and tell us stories about the good little girl and the naughty little boy, and it was all based on her and her eldest brother in KwaZulu-Natal, and they were just full of twists and turns, and she basically ignited that love for out there, for imagining characters and building their worlds. And in primary school, I used to write these small little stories and use my father's photocopy machine. It shows you how long ago that was. And then staple them all together and take them to school and hand them out with the little illustrations to my friends. But that was it. I never thought I'd be a writer. I never thought of writing until 5-6 years ago, when I read 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah.
Yes. And unlike everyone else, I really liked the love story. I could see a love story. And then I looked at this book and I thought, you know what? I can do better. I'm going to do better. And and that was it.
Yeah, and
that's where I started.
I completely come from the same place. It was 50 Shades of Grey that I read and kind of go, yeah, I'll get back into reading a bit more now. Of course, the next book was a million times better because it was by someone who had a bit more experience. But I think she, as much as you love or hate her, she has done so much for reading and for romance and just for bringing people back to stories. So yay for her.
Yes, absolutely.
So how did you go when you started writing? Did you submit traditionally? How did all that sort of come about?
You know what? I just sat down and I started writing a story. There was just the story, like Epona, it came to me in my dream. I think every writer has their first book that no one gets to read, okay, because it's that bad. But it's still your baby. And I wrote this entire story and sent it to a South African friend of mine who read it and said, oh, babe, ew. And I thought, okay, well, I obviously need help. And I started researching how to write a book and all this. And I landed on this group in America called The Right Practice. Mm-hmm. And it's this awesome community, and I joined the membership. And what you do is every week you hand in a piece of writing. And in return, you have to read and critique. It's a bit of a harsh word, but give feedback on another writer's writing. It was one of the best learning curves for my writing ever, because I learned to accept criticism on my writing. I also learned to see writing and storytelling in a different light by reading someone else's story and looking for the gaps, for the holes, where they can improve. And I was probably with that group for about 3 or 4 years before they actually asked me to step up as moderator, which was such an honor. Then I finished a book called Numbers in the Tango, which was turned down by very, very many publishers now. And I kind of just chucked it on there on Amazon. Didn't make much of a dent because I hate marketing as well and all that. But since then, I've just kind of been plodding along, just writing, and then Epona happened, and then I found this awesome publisher who went, I like Epona, and I was all,
And now you're famous.
Now I'm famous.
But before Epona came around, you were writing something else, weren't you? You dabbled in some steampunk for a while there.
Yes. I'm gonna just brag there. Okay. It's under a different name though, MC Dalton, which is the one I originally, wrote under.
Yeah.
As writers do, we form these little tribes, and I met this amazing writer, Melanie Page, and we sat one day talking, and I'd been watching Penny Dreadful on, I think it was Netflix, and I said, oh my God, I love monsters, and I love Frankenstein, and I want to write his love story. She was like, no one loves Frankenstein. You cannot write a love story. I said, we can. And she goes, we? And I go, yeah, we need to write together. And it just kind of snowballed from there. We just fell onto the steampunk, and the first book is called Iron Heart, which we self-published and did so well. We were picked up by a Scottish, and one based in Aberdeen, actually, a publisher. So it'll be republished later this year. But it's just so much fun. I love it because I get to build all these steampunk gadgets. I basically build the story and the characters, and Melanie comes in with her beautiful wording and descriptions and kind of calls me on plot holes that I have and, character gaps. And so we work together, and then there's this beautiful, beautiful book erupted, and there's 3 more of them. We call it now the Iron Universe that are coming soon.
So just the ones out so far?
Well, it was out. It's not anymore because it's Volpine signed us. So they said, okay, editing. It's at the editor now. Melanie's handling that. I'm too sooky. So, and then they're going to zhuzh it up. And by the sounds of it, it'll be republished through Volpine in the middle of this year, about June or July. But in the meantime, Melanie and I are busy. We're on the back end, on the arse end of Iron Fist, which is the second book. And after that, there'll be Iron Will and then Iron Alibi. And that's the 4 books for the series.
Yeah. So exciting. Wow. So Frankenstein's love story. I love it.
Yes. Iron Heart is about this fellow who literally has an iron heart.
Yeah.
And we bring in this woman. We base it loosely on the first woman who were accepted in the late 1800s to medical school in Edinburgh. So you've got this stunning female character who's strong and brilliant, and she's your heroine. She saves this man, and you get all these cool steampunk gadgets as well. I mean, hello, awesome.
That's cool. So you definitely like your strong female leads, which you certainly have with Sadie and Epona. So I'd love for you to tell us how Epona evolved, especially, we've probably all gathered now from your accent that you're from South Africa. And Epona starts in South Africa, and we are definitely marketing you as having this strong South African background. So tell us about that and how that South African background really made Epona.
Man, okay, I think I have to start here. Is Epona came to me in a dream. It was a really weird dream. And this is how I write. I literally go lie down in bed at night and daydream. And I'll wake up and the story will be there. With Epona, it was an actual dream, and the more I thought on it, it evolved. And the more I saw my character, the more I knew she was a part of me. Sorry. I always get emotional when I write about my South African people. The story was also telling me that it had a lot to do with me and my genes. I've got Scottish heritage. But it also had to tell the story of South Africa without making it too heavy, because South Africa is very, very heavy emotionally. And using Sadie, I could show you how hurt we are. And that it's not, yes, she's a white girlie, but I showed you that it affected everyone by showing the workers. Grace, who's a Zulu girl, who also died in the attack, to show the farm attacks. It wasn't, in the story, I don't make it politically based as it is in South Africa, I just kind of twisted the plot a bit to highlight the drugs that are also full on in South Africa. But this is what our people are going through. And then to draw the attention to it in a way that it's people will accept it, is to put it in a story and ask her, okay, Sadie, so this happened to you, my girl. What now? What would you do? Where would you go? You know, and her first choice is I'm going to my nan. Yes, she wasn't here for me, but all these things happened and there's still danger, so I'm going to Scotland. I'm just going to do it. I've never been beyond the borders of South Africa. I'm going. And that was something I did as a girlie. People always said, oh, you'll never leave your mother's home. You're so, tied to the apron strings and all that. And I woke up, remember, I was in my early 20s. I woke up one morning, I said, oh, I'm leaving. I'm going to England. Everyone was like, what? And that's how I based this thing of Sadie's on. It was just, I'm going. And then she goes and she's determined. She's got all this hurt. She's got all this. It's more than just the physical damage that she's dealing with. It's this emotional trauma. And that was hard to portray. Because I think my first version of Sadie, she was a cow. She was a whingy little cow. And I had to go, no, come. Stop this nonsense. Show me why you're hurting. And gradually her hurt opened up. And I could portray her better, stronger. That, look, this is what happens when you get this hurt, when you get this traumatized. People deal with it differently. This is how she dealt with it. And at the same time, all these beautiful gifts were given to her. I mean, this horse that crossed her path, that was also damaged, but they recognized the hurt in each other. This man who, some people might think he's a sook, but I don't think so. He also had to find himself. He had to stop being an arrogant yuppie, and he followed this path and he fell in love with the type of woman he never would have had he remained in his old life. And he enjoyed her strength. And I think that's important today with everything that's happening in the world is you can have two strong characters. You can have a strong man and a strong woman, and it can work, and they can find each other, they can heal each other, and it's okay. So there's a lot of underlying messages I try to bring across.
Yeah. No, I love it. Sorry. Epona, it's beautiful. I should show you everyone the cover.
Oh, I love it so much.
It's a great cover. Hopefully we can see that all right. It's definitely going to go all over Facebook. So that's the print copy, which thank you to Lana, my lovely cover designer, for doing another job. So you gave Epona to me to read last year, and that's how we came to meet and get to know each other as friends, is because obviously I run Serenade Publishing, so you're officially my first other author that I published apart from myself. So and it is just doing great guns. It is as we're talking now in February 2019, it's just available on Amazon and Kindle Unlimited. But you can definitely get it, the print copy, through Book Depository, Booktopia, all of those other ones, and Amazon as well. So if anyone's interested, or they can just message me, Sarah, at serenadepublishing.com, and I'll get a copy out. But it's getting some amazing reviews, especially from people who are South African. They really appreciate everything that you're doing for them in their country. So yay!
Yes, yay!
So because you liked co-writing so much, you're doing some more co-writing, not just with your other co-writer, with the steampunk Melanie. That's it, with Iron Hearts, but you're co-writing with me now too.
I am, and that's proved interesting. And Melanie's gonna go, I told you, because I don't plan. I don't like planning. I only write down little ideas, and Melanie knows I get them all full of nonsense when she tells me to plan, because I don't. So with you gave me the outline. So for once, I haven't sat and just let the story go. I've had to follow a line, and that's been a learning curve. It's been fun. It's been fun. It's a learning curve.
Yes.
So the going a little bit slower because I tend to get carried away and then I've got to come back and go, no, we need to go this way. When I write with Melanie, the characters, the story is my own. Yours, this is your story. You know your characters. I'm getting to know your characters. And I find that when I sit down with them long enough, then we start to make sense together.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying writing something that is not me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, well, this one, it's still to be named. We haven't come up with a title yet, which is hilarious. And it's the second one in the series that I started last year, the Heart of the Hinterland. So the first book that came out was The Dairy Farmer's Daughter. And it's been very, very successful. I'm still quite astounded with how well it's doing. So but we decided I love your work and you've read mine, and we just kind of said, look, let's do this together. So it's Greer's story. She's the sister of Freya, my heroine in the first one. And I said to you, look, this is her story. This is what she's telling me. And then it's interesting because you've come and you've told me a couple of times, this is what Greer is telling you, or this is what Hamish is telling you. And I go, yeah, that's what they tell me too. I just didn't put it in the outline or something like that. And it's like, yeah, I expected them to tell you. This is very much a character. All my books are character driven. So I think it's really funny that we both, you'll say, what about this? And I'll go, yeah, of course. Like, why are you asking me that? Or the other day I said to you, I think we need to put a dog in there. And you were like, okay.
I went, because I was actually in the middle of it. And I went, and I came back and I thought, you know what, I can see with the dog.
Yeah.
I like it.
I know.
So we're going to put a doggy in.
So it's just so funny how we're working, you know. It's nothing has come up so far, touch wood. Nothing has come up that you've said, no, we can't do that. Or I've said, no, you can't do that. So far, it's going well. You are much further along with your first draft of our July release than I sure am with my May release. So it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. We can do this. We're writers.
Yes.
But do you have any advice to anyone who is maybe got a friend who's got a similar voice and they're kind of going, oh, maybe we should do this together? Do you have any advice from a writer's point of view?
Okay. Be open. Know that disagreements, or as Melanie likes to call what we have, domestics, happen. Understand your personalities. I'm a very emotional person. So she'll often send me back what she's rewritten on my stuff, and I'll go, no, this is not happening. I like it. And she'll go, but this is why, and blah, blah. And we'll work through it. We don't get ugly with each other. We always sort through the differences. With you, like you say, we haven't had that yet. But I think because for me it's a little bit different. I'm hearing your characters through you. They're already there. It's just, it's easier. So understand your strengths and your weaknesses. Melly and I knew that from the get-go. That's what makes us so good. Yeah. I'm a storyteller. I can tell hundreds of stories. I love the steampunk genre because I can build things. Melanie's brilliant with her history, brilliant, and with her wording, and with picking up, giving the characters little nuances. So with you and me, I think we'll still get there. We'll still figure out, where our strengths and weaknesses are. At the moment, I think we're very much of the same frame of mind, which is also good. I'd also tell them, don't give up. Don't give up if you guys get stuck on a point. It's awesome to write your own book. Make no mistake. I mean, it really is. But co-authoring has got so many pros. Yeah. It gives the book so much more power. And there's nothing wrong with sharing the limelight. Nothing. It's awesome.
Yeah. That's it. And from a marketing point of view, obviously, I started thinking about co-writing way back when I was talking to Bella Andre in New Zealand last year. And so many successful independent authors, they co-write. You share successes, your promotions, and all those sorts of things. So I've seen it happen so much, and I was like, I was just waiting for the right person to come along. So once
I hope I do you justice.
I'm sure you will.
I'll be honest with you, that is my one fear. I am very nervous of handing you back this beautiful baby, and it's not what you want. Okay, that is my fear.
Well, from what I've seen so far, it's going to be great. So I have no problems. Oh dear. So I know that you write a lot of things at the same time. So you've just finished writing your next book, which we're not sure what it's called yet, because I'm going to be publishing this one, so I get to, I get to show you which one we should name it. That's my chance at the end of the day. So we're calling it Destiny or Destiny's Kiss at the moment, but that's a working title. So you've finished that, and it's just an editing stage at the moment, isn't it?
Yes, I'm just looking at my editor's final notes before you get it.
Yeah.
This one is set purely in South Africa, in the Cape.
Cool.
Table Mountain. It involves the wine, a little bit of the Navy in Simonstown. My heroine's a doctor. There's some tragedy and trauma, like all my characters have. But what I did with this one is I highlight a lot more of the political goings on, not only in South Africa, but in the world. So you've got this female doctor and this young boy. They meet when they're 16 on her sweet 16th through circumstances. He comes from a Muslim background, because we have got the Cape Malay population. Yeah. A very colourful, beautiful population in Cape Town. And they happen to, while the adults are busy with their stuff, she grabs a bottle of wine and off they go, and they sit under a tree and they have their first kiss. But it's a big taboo, because they caught out. He's Muslim, she's a white girl. And so we come back 14 years later, and we've got them never having dealt with this trauma, him coming from an abusive family. I bring up a little bit of child abuse. I bring up the human trafficking that is rife in South Africa at the moment. Kids that are being stolen out the back seats of their parents' cars, teenagers going missing. It's a very real thing. Mm-hmm. And people need to understand that it's not just on NCIS or, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So I highlight this through the story. And because he's in the Navy, at a certain point, the Navy is drawn into this whole situation. I also, and I've got villains and I've got good people. And I bring out the question of racism and religion. I touch on that. Why we are racist, why we're not racist, how the world thinks South Africa has grown into a rainbow nation but hasn't. I touch on the corruption in the government. So there's a lot of issues, but the general story, the big story, is this absolute love, this one true love. I believe every now and then you find a couple that's meant to be, and this is them. They meet at 16, there's 14 years apart, and they come back together, and everything in life, everything points them in that direction. And I've got a little bit of superstitious magic in, because I open the story with her in Sierra Leone, where a witch doctor walks up to her and says, I've got a message for you, and gives her this prophecy, and she's like, what? I don't do this. And so this kind of travels through, and it just shows that sometimes it doesn't matter how we think we want our life to go, life has got its own idea. So there's a lot of themes again, and it's also evolved the book it's taken 2 or 3 years, but I'm happy with where it is, and I know my readers will love her as much as I do.
Yeah. Oh, it sounds awesome. I can't wait to finish reading it, and as long as, once we've worked together, it sounds like we'll probably have this one out by the end of the year anyway. I can imagine, so that will be great. So I'm pretty sure that anyone who liked Epona, if you haven't got a copy yet, so it's on Kindle Unlimited, or if you're not with KU, you can just buy it for 99 cents at the moment. Price might be different in a few months, but we will wait and see. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that if anyone has read and loved that, this one will be on their to-read lists as well when it comes out. So it's very exciting.
I'm very excited. I'm sorry if I just a bit quiet. I get very emotional when I get excited about these books. Sorry.
Well, they're our children. just wait till you start doing 6 a year, and then you'll be like, get out of my hair. Where can we find you online and keep up with everything that you're doing?
Okay, so I've got a website, Michelle Dalton, author.
Yep.
I forgot that now. I think it's
Michelle
Dalton.
MichelleDaltonAuthor.com.
Yes, that's it. I was thinking of the @ I'm going, does it have an @ I'm terrible at these things. I'm sorry. Okay, so MichelleDaltonAuthor.com.
And that's why I do all your marketing.
I love YouTube bits. If you click on that little website, then it's going to give you all the other little places you can find me, like Facebook and the usual suspects. So
yeah, and of course, if someone watching or listening joins your mailing list, they'll also get some other little short stories. So
yes, a whole book full of them.
Yeah, and that's all for free, so you can decide whether or not you like Michelle's storytelling art, which she's amazing.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much for chatting to me, Michelle. That was really insightful.
Thanks, it was fun. Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the show. Jump onto my website, sarahwilliamsauthor.com, and join my mailing list to receive a free preview of my books and lots of other inspiration. If you like the show and want it to continue, you can become a sponsor for just a couple of dollars a month. Go to patreon.com/SarahWilliamsAuthor. And remember to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and leave a review of the podcast. I'll be back next week with another loved up episode. Bye.